Naturally, page 103 of Masechet Zevachim, making fabulous progress at the moment as we're delving in its, let's just say, an encyclopedia with regards to korbanot, sacrifices, as we look at all the realms in of itself. And today we're talking about skin in this week's, or this page's Talmud in of itself. Saving the skin, that happens to be the topic over here. We've just come out of the Jewish festival of Chanukah and just a small trip to IKEA to share over some wisdom with regards to the daily Talmud. So what's going on, friends, over here? The Kohanim, we know the priests, the Kohanim, who perform the service of a offering, a Korban Olah, which is spoken about extensively on a series over here. Those Kohanim are entitled to the skin of the animal whose entire body is burned on the altar. That is it. Now the Mishnah on today's page, on 103, and naturally in Amud Aleph, is going to declare that if the flesh of that Kohen, of that Korban, of that sacrifice, this flesh became disqualified for, let's say, offering on the altar, the skin does not go to the Kohanim, but is burned along with the flesh at a site of the altar. So naturally the Kohen is not going to profit from this, let's just say. Now the makor, the source for this rule, is a phrase, the olah of a man. This is a phrase that's given, which appears in the above cited passage, a phrase over here, which indicates that the skin goes to the Kohanim only when the olah was indeed offered on behalf of a man, and not when it was disqualified from the altar over here. Now it's actually interesting. This was actually taken from Rabbi Mendel Weinbach, Zachat Tzadik Livracha, who was Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Or Sameach, in his excellent OHR.edu notes, which I strongly recommend people to read. But two modifications of this rule emerge from cases arising, let's say, in the Mishnah, and the next one over here, we actually, let's say, comes to fruition within regards to that. What is that, friends, over here? What if the olah, this sacrifice, was slaughtered not for the sake of offering it as an olah, but for the sake of a shlamim? So we've spoken about this before. He wanted to do a olah sacrifice or a shlamim, or vice versa over here. What was the intention of the person, and did he achieve this intention or not? At the very outset, we saw in Masechet Zevachim, we learned that such a korban, a sacrifice, is considered kosher for offering on the altar, but it's not considered a fulfillment of the vow made by the Baal, by its owner, who is required to bring another animal for a korban. Now, friends, over here, if we interpret the olah of a man, this verse, in the strictest literal way, over here, the skin of such an animal will not go to the Kohanim, because the korban did not serve as the olah of a man who brought it over here. This from the pattern, let's just say, of the Pasukim. But let's just say the Mishnah rules that the skin will go to the Kohanim, because the requirement of this phrase, olah of a man, is only that the flesh be offered on the altar, completing, let's say, this process for which a man has designated it. So this is the first bullet point, let's just say, in of itself. And we've got another key point at the moment. Before I say the next key point over here, friends, remember, just don't forget to smash the subscribe button to the channel and join our community, as we are every single day doing a tidbit on the daily page of Daf Yomi, and very, very interesting over here. Just I'll let you see some scenes of IKEA, and we're going to continue with the second point over here. Let's know. Shesh hamburger, shesh naknikiot. Okay, so that's the thing. We're just actually waiting in a line at the moment here in massive IKEA outlet. So nothing like sharing over some words of Torah and the daily tidbits of Daf Yomi while we are ordering over here. So, as they say, kill two birds in one stone, but quite literally, not literally, but do two things at one time simultaneously. Every person with ADHD has to be on the go the whole time. So I've got ADHD, so that is me on the run over here with some Talmud and Gemara. But now the second point over here. We've spoken about the first point, the second point. What if the skin was removed from the olah before its blood was applied to the altar and the flesh became disqualified in between? Now, let's say in normal circumstances, this will not occur, because it is improper to delay, let's just say, the application of the blood until after flaying. Now, the Mishnah, therefore, categorically states that if the flesh became disqualified, the skin will not go to the Kohanim, as we said before, since the disqualification affected the flesh and skin as one unit in time. Now the Mishnah, friends, over here, however, suggests now another situation that arises just from over here. They suggest a situation. The next Mishnah, will suggest another situation where the skin was removed from the flesh before the blood was applied to the mizbeach, to the altar, and was therefore not affected by the disqualification of the flesh. Now, in such a case, the blood is applied to the altar and grants sacred status to the skin, which is awarded to the Kohanim. Remember, the Kohanim, the priests, they get a lot of presents. I recommend when they're doing their work, the avodat, all the avodah they're doing on the altar. We learn about this in the Chumash, inside the Torah also, respectively, which I strongly recommend everyone to learn the different laws within regards to this, so on and so forth. But a very interesting insight, and I strongly recommend everyone to look at the fantastic content which Rabbi Mendel Weinbach has on the website, and also Rabbi Moshe Newman. If just hold on a minute, some more seats. שש ושלוש גלידות. תגיד לא בפנים רוטב, על הצד, על הרוטב, okay? Okay, friends, over here. And now, a lot of people were asking for yesterday's tidbit. Some people missed yesterday's page. Friends, yesterday we spoke about the previous page, which was 102, which is very exciting. We actually yesterday filmed in a grand park in Petach Tikva, where by the lake, by the trees, and it was absolutely amazing. So I just want to share what we talked about yesterday with regards to royalty at the moment. Now, IKEA, I don't know if it's fit for royalty in of itself. You know, the items happen to be cheaper, but let's talk about royalty and the malchut, as they say, kingship. They actually say, we just came out of Chanukah, and they say that Chanukah is an extension of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Sukkot, those Chagim, and everything, according to some opinions, are sealed here at the festival of Chanukah and Zot Chanukah, respectively. Now, respect for royalty, that's what we learned about yesterday. So I'll share about what I said yesterday, so that everyone will hear our tidbit from yesterday. We talked about how should one relate with royalty, and we talked about the great respect of our sages that cited two examples with regards to royalty from the Torah, from Scripture. Rabbi Yanai's model of royalty is Moses, Moshe Rabbeinu, who said to Pharaoh that following the plague of the firstborn, all these your servants shall come down to meet me and shall bow to me, saying, be gone, you and your people. This is what we learn about, I believe, in Sefer Shemot in chapter 11, verse number 8. I think that's actually in Parshat Bo, if I'm not mistaken. Although the intention of his warning was that the Egyptian ruler himself, Pharaoh, let's say, would thus be humbled, as they did eventually happen, as we learn about in Shemot, in chapter 12, verse 31, Moshe did not explicitly say so out of respect for the king. Now that's the first opinion over here. We're going to explore the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan also, which has to be pointed out. Let me just make sure my son is okay inside the queue. אתה זמן או לא? זה 6, אבל רוטב על הצד. Okay? Okay, בסדר? Okay, כל הכבוד. Okay, so that's the first opinion over there. Now Rabbi Yochanan, friends, is going to weigh in also. He points to the prophet of Elijah, or Eliyahu Hanavi, over here, of whom it is written that the hand of Hashem was on Eliyahu, and he girded his lions and ran before Achab. Achab was one of the kings. Obviously, we know that Achab, it's a machloket, whether Achab was righteous or not. Doesn't make it to Olam Haba, I think in various places also, but unfortunately did do stuff that was not proper in God's eyes, as we learn about in the book of Melachim, in chapter number 2, in the book number 2, in chapter 18, verse 46. Now, the great commentator Rashi is going to weigh in also. He explains that the king was alone, so the prophet ran ahead of him as an escort. And Radak, and the great Radak, is going to comment over here that the very act of running was an expression of respect for Achab over here. So it's another proof of how important royalty is, and that even if someone says a king, let's just say, how they should gain nobility and gain honor and prestige and so on and so forth. But the question we posed yesterday's Gemara was, why did even such wicked vilers such as Pharaoh and Achab deserve to be honored? According to his opinion, the commentator over here is looking at the angle that Achab was a very, very bad king, and we do see that he does some wicked things. The great Maharsha is going to quote the statement of our great rabbis in Masechet Brachot, I think in page 58, actually in Amud Aleph, that earthly government, we learned yesterday, is a reflection of the heavenly one, the heavenly ruler over here. The one who shows lack of respect for a king below is therefore guilty of a lack of respect for the king above. That's what we learned about yesterday, and there's much information we learned about yesterday, today, inside the daily page at Daf Yomi. Now I want to give you fantastic people out there a feel of where I am, because you're probably all wondering, what does an IKEA, a busy IKEA, look like here in Israel? Let's check it out, friends, over here. People are buying ice cream. We've got like a huge burger stand here with sausages and so on and so forth. Okay, this is just the cafeteria area, friends, where we happen to be. I'm going to upload this after Chanukah, but between you and me, I've recorded this on Zot Chanukah here. So this obviously is not going to come on the channel where you guys are watching until after the festival. Friends, if you didn't notice, I love going to different places every single time to share over some wisdom within regards to the daily page of Daf Yomi. They've got a huge car park here, and so on and so forth, and a lot just basically going on over here. You can see just the entrance here. They've got nice decorations. We actually, on this channel, friends, we did record a video of a tour of IKEA. Two shekels for an ice cream. You can see it's very, very decorative over here. The entrance is in of itself. IKEA Bet Shemesh, or it's also known as in Eshtaol. Eshtaol, I think this is the area where I believe Shimshon Gibor, Samson, was actually buried. We're bringing Stockholm and Sweden over here to the city of Bet Shemesh. Now, what's also interesting, friends, I always see people I know over here. So it always happens inside this place. So you really get a feel of IKEA. We did an entire tour of the upstairs of IKEA previously, and we did a tour of the downstairs also, we have to point out. We actually filmed with a couple of rabbis here also, which is very, very interesting. Friends, if you didn't subscribe yet to the channel, please smash the subscribe button and join our community. And welcome to everyone that's watching live over here. It's just a downstairs where people pay. And so, friends, we spoke about Zevachim, page 103, and also we looked back at yesterday's page of 102 inside the daily page. Let's see what's going on with the queue at the moment. You get to experience proper IKEA. Atal Zman or not? Okay. Over here. Just got some very much on the go at the moment. Wow. People are drinking Coke, but I've got to be careful with the sugar levels over there. You can see this IKEA Ishtaol, friends. Here in Bet Shemesh, anyone tuning in as special treats after Daf Yomi, we are just taking some scenes over here of the major IKEA here in the city. Over here, you can see their shops here. People are shopping, enjoying. It's actually interesting. We went to Ramat Gan Petach Tikva yesterday area, and there was, I think there's a new IKEA there also. So that's something that we have to point out also. Let's see what's going on with the queue at the moment. We're still waiting. Let's just see the outside car park, and we'll just call it a day over here. As you can see just from the outside here, this is just a sign of IKEA. There it is, just over here. You can see the archaeology of Bet Shemesh under the city. Different flags over here. As we will, I think we're going to wrap it up, friends, over here. Wish you all a fantastic day. Don't forget, everyone, join the community. Welcome if you're new here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay, so friends, everyone, please subscribe to the channel, join our community, and enjoy and watch over the previous videos of Masechet Zevachim and all Daf Yomi videos we recorded. Thanks for watching.